Hey there, and welcome to a new round of memos and short introductions to our latest releases and what is now already the third news package for 2025. A small note in advance, as those small lines next to the item numbers in the brochure are probably raising some questions. Those lines are the item barcode of the respective model. This is to make it easier for retailers to find the item in their internal, let's say cashier and warehouse systems. If you have a query, the retailer can scan it and then quickly find the item in their system or place an order with us for you. Going back to the models, we have once again tried to put together a little global variety, this time with models from Air China, from the low-cost giant Gol from Brazil, another biofuel green plane from Turkish Airlines, and also the new flagship of the Ethiopian Airlines from Africa. Already on the front page, a neat special livery stands out as one of the top releases of this package. The design itself is quite unusual and is supposed to represent the three Baltic states, Latvia, Estonia, and Lithuania, where Air Baltic is based. The little ladybug symbolizes Latvia, the swallow represents Estonia, and the stork stands for Lithuania. We are initially releasing this A220 in 1 to 500 and 1 to 200 scales, both of die-cast metal. Even though it has just snowed a little here while I record this, commercials for summer holiday trips are already all over the place. In parallel to all those early booking ads, we would like to offer a little anticipation for the vacation season with models of 3 leisure carriers. All 3 have already been in high demand. The A330 in the colors of Discover Airlines spun off from Eurowings not too long ago and given its own new livery, or our first Condor 757 from our new tooling in the legendary beach towel design. It really looks, however, as if the 757 will be retired by the end of this year, so we'll have to pick up speed a little if we want to tackle them all. And last but not least, a quite nice special livery from TUI Fly, which represents 50 years of history on one aircraft. We have the classic orange-blue livery of the early years, the yellow and the taxicab pattern of TUI and Hapag-Lloyd Express, right up to the TUI light blue on the nose from their current livery. And looking back, we have been able to follow all these eras of Hapag-Lloyd and TUI over the years, and I can imagine some of you may also have a not-so-small Hapag collection of your own. In news package number 2, we had already presented the first model of our small 3-part series of KC-10 tankers. We now have the other 2/3 of this small series commemorating the retirement of the extender from the USAF. Both appear in their original color schemes in which they were initially used in the US and by the Dutch Air Force, both having a rather civilian-looking livery to them. The 2 aircraft that were used in the Netherlands are correctly named KDC-10. It may sound strange at first, but it's not a typo. While the tankers were newly built aircraft for the US Air Force, the 2 from the Netherlands are converted DC-10s that were previously in service with Martinair. And speaking of Martinair, on October 2, 2024, a real pioneer of commercial aviation in the Netherlands passed away at the age of 93. Johan Martin Schröder. A pilot himself, he founded Martins Air Charter, the country's first charter airline, back in 1958. 1 year later, he bought his very first Douglas DC-3, registered PHMAA. He remained owner and managing director until his retirement in 1998, 40 years after founding his airline. And to honor his life's work, we are releasing a limited edition 1 to 200 scale model of his very first DC-3 aircraft. This new edition of the Lufthansa A350 not only comes with a new registration, DAIXT, and a new name, Leipzig, but also if you compare the model with the last edition, the window configuration has also changed. The reason for this is the installation of the new Allegris cabin interior. The Leipzig is the first A350 at Lufthansa to be completely outfitted with the new Allegris cabin, starting from economy class all the way to the private suites at the very front. They will surely make for a great flying experience if you get a chance to enjoy it. 50 years after its first flight, Tornados are still in service in Germany, Italy, and Saudi Arabia, which is certainly proof of the capabilities of this little compact powerhouse. The test and evaluation unit of the German Air Force in Manching, Bavaria, painted this Tornado, among a few other aircraft, with design elements from the very first prototype and of other pre-series aircraft. We do have looking forward, we do have another model, but then of an operational Tornado to follow later in the year. Over 1,200 Antonov 12 transports were built in the Soviet Union starting from 1957 through to 1973. Quite similar in size and mission profile to the US-built C-130 Hercules, there are still around 250 roundabout in service worldwide today. This also includes Ukraine Airlines from Kiev, which still operates 4 aircraft in a neat blue livery across all continents. We have here a model of a Ukrainian airline, and which is produced in Ukraine. It's a good match in my opinion. It's a tradition to announce at least a few new projects early in the year. Since it's already March, we better get to it. We have now completed the first decorated samples of the new Douglas DC-7 in the 1:200 scale from mold test shot parts. This last piston engine aircraft from Douglas will appear in the second half of the year, initially in the Douglas corporate colors. We also have a few more things to come later this year, such as the world's largest helicopter, the Mil Mi-26. At 40 meters long, it overshadows even a few fixed-wing aircraft. And a nice feature of our model, the rear cargo doors can be displayed opened or closed. Then we have the longest version of the 737 MAX family, the MAX 10. And although not yet approved for commercial operation, it will nevertheless be appearing for the first time this year, at least in the 1:500 scale. We already presented the first prototypes of the new Boeing 777-9 last year in Nuremberg at the Toy Fair. We have in the meantime made a few more changes, but we are still well on schedule, at least compared to the original, which is still giving Boeing some final headaches. And that's surely not all, but we are working on a few more things and more to follow once things progress further. Before I let you go, I have 2 more important notes for you. We have planned our next live stream or live chat on Instagram for Tuesday, March 18. As promised, we do want to try to introduce a rhythm and shorter intervals as we've done before. It might not necessarily happen every 2 months, but at least the next chat will be roughly 2 months after the last, or a little bit more, on Tuesday, March 18, on Instagram at 5:30 p.m. Central European Time. So please mark your calendars and please get those questions prepared. And please don't forget our open house day. This year will take place on Saturday, July 5th. The Herpa team and I in particular would be delighted to welcome as many of you wings collectors as possible. See you at the next live chat or maybe live in the summer here in Dietenhofen. Thanks once again for your interest. Yours truly, Stephan Külgen.